Hey guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and this channel is all about my health, wellness, fitness, and weight loss maintenance journey. Today's video is all about the 30-day challenge that I'm implementing for myself, but I did say to you all in a previous video that if you would like to join me on this challenge, and it doesn't need to be my challenge, you can do whatever challenge or, pick things that are meaningful to you. I would love to have, like I said, some accountability partners, so that would be great. If you do want to join the challenge, let me know in the comments below. And for accountability purposes, I think that we should put in the comment what are the things that you want to do for the challenge. This is very, very loosely based on 75 hard. I mean, it is not 75 hard at all. I have done 75 hard in the past, and I mentioned this in a previous video too, that it just killed my love of exercise. The fact that I had to work out 2 times a day, 45 minutes each. You couldn't work out together. One of them had to be outside. I mean, there were times, if the weather was inclement or something, I would literally go out on our back patio. This is when we still lived in Kansas City. And we had like a covered patio part. And I would go out there and I would set up my phone with like a Zumba workout or something. And I would, on my back porch at 10 o'clock at night, would start doing a workout. I'm sure my neighbors probably thought I was insane. But my point is, because it forced me to do the workouts, it made me really lose my joy for it, because up until I started 75 hard, I loved working out. I worked out probably 6 days a week on my own. No one, no challenge, no anybody telling me I had to, etc. So I've sort of modified some things. I've taken some things from it as well, as you'll kind of see. But anyway, let's get into my 30-day challenge, what my 9 sort of requirements are for myself. Then I can get started on April 1st. Okay, so these are in no particular order whatsoever. They were just basically as they popped into my head as I was writing down this list. So as I said, there are 9 things that I have on my list. I'm pretty sure I captured everything that was important to me. There may be another one that I add. I don't know if I think about it more or something. But the first thing is that I want to make my bed every day. And by that, I mean in the morning. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be the second I get up in the morning, although that would be ideal. But, it's like almost 4 o'clock when I am recording this in the afternoon, and I am staring, you can't see it, but across from me is my bed. It's an unmade bed right now. And making it now, that wouldn't count, right? Now, obviously, if for some reason David sleeps longer than me, and so I'm up for a while before he gets out of bed, obviously I'm not going to be able to make it until he gets out of bed. I'm not going to kick him out of bed just so I can make the bed. But I had gotten into a habit of making the bed every day, and it really made me feel better. And I know there are a bazillion other people out there who have talked about how making your bed every day sets you up for success, and it gives you that like immediate sense of accomplishment, and it just starts your day off kind of right. So number 1, making my bed every day, pretty much, in the morning. I'll say sort of within like the first hour of being up. Number 2 is drinking between 90 to 100 ounces of water. This, is definitely a part of 75 hard, although 75 hard, I believe it's a gallon of water every day, which is essentially 1 more of these. I think, what is it, like 128 ounces, something like that. When I did 75 hard, I had a gallon jug that I had gotten off of Amazon that had my name on it. And everybody was instructed that they were not to get any water from that jug, except for me, because in our last house, we had like an industrial sort of size, like a restaurant size refrigerator. So it was a whole separate refrigerator and a whole separate freezer. And because of that, unfortunately, we didn't have a water dispenser. So, when people wanted really cold water, they sort of eyed my big giant jug in there because it had cold water in it, because I would fill it up every night, put it in the refrigerator, and then I would have cold water, obviously, for the whole next day. And it was so much easier. I didn't start out doing that. I just, was using my whatever tumbler thing I had. But I found myself worrying about, okay, how many did I have? Did I have 3 of those? Did I have 4 of those? Did I whatever? And so it just seemed easier to have a full gallon jug and then, fill it up. And I had to finish that gallon jug, right, to meet the requirement for the challenge. So I'm not going to do that. That's kind of why I said 90 to 100. This one is 32 ounces. So if I drink the 3 of them, that's 96 ounces. So I'm within the 90 to 100 ounces. Number 3, and another one that I am borrowing from 75 Hard, is to read 10 minutes a day. Now, I'm not going to make the requirement like a self-help or, some kind of nonfiction. I can't remember exactly what the requirements are for 75 Hard, but you can't read a fiction book. I don't know. There were some parameters around what qualified as a book that you could read. Now, to be very honest with you, I have 2 books sitting here on my nightstand, which I think would actually probably both qualify for what 75 Hard required. But I've really gotten out of the habit of reading, and I think reading is such a great thing to do, especially when you're going to bed, because I think it, first of all, you're not on your screen, so you're not getting that blue light, into your eyes. And I just think that it will be helpful, and I miss reading, and I just feel like this will help me get back into the habit of reading. Number 4 is something that is specific to me, at least. I mean, maybe some of you might find this applicable to you too, but I am instituting a rule that I have to drink 1 of these full of water before I can have my protein coffee. Now, again, I did that for 75 Hard, mostly because I just needed to get the water in, right? I needed to start right away during the day to drink that. And also, it used to take me a lot longer to drink my protein coffee. Now it doesn't take me near as long, but in the beginning, because I did the challenge in like spring, I think I started in like March of 2021, and I started drinking my protein coffee in about May of 2020. So I was, like I said, just drinking it really slowly. Like, it would take me sometimes 3 hours to get through my protein coffee. And obviously, if you're taking 3 hours to get through your protein coffee, you're taking quite a few hours out of the day where you could be drinking your water. So I think it will be really helpful. I'm probably getting close to what I'm putting here as a requirement in water every day, but I'm doing it much later in the day. Like, generally I'm drinking 2 of these from like 7 until 11 at night. And then I'm obviously having to get up to go to the bathroom at least once, sometimes twice. So I want to try to refocus and get at least 1 of the 3 of these water tumblers in before I have my protein coffee. So my protein coffee is kind of a reward for getting that first 32 ounces of water. And when I work out, I pretty much always drink a full 1 of these. So, assuming that I'm working out in the morning, sometimes I don't work out until like around lunchtime, something like that. So obviously that's not going to work. But if I'm working out in the morning, that won't be a problem. But when I'm not working out in the morning, that's when it becomes an issue. And so that's just going to be one of my rules. I have to drink 1 of those before I have my protein coffee. Number 5 is that I need to move my body a minimum of 30 minutes a day. Now, I work out, and I will be starting Pilates again probably next week, because I probably won't be able to get into a class until next week. So between my gym workouts and my Pilates class, that's at least 4 times a week. But I want to make sure that I'm getting some kind of movement in those other days too. That could be just going out and taking a walk. That could be going downstairs and walking 30 minutes on the treadmill, while watching YouTube or something. I just want to get some kind of movement. It doesn't have to be 10,000 steps or, that kind of thing. Obviously, I'm not going to do 2 workouts a day. I just want to reincorporate daily movement into my life. Number 6 is something that I have stopped doing for quite a while, kind of really once I started maintenance, and that is tracking my food. Does it have to be down to the, gram weight of something? I'm not going to be anal retentive about it like I was when I was losing. I literally measured every single thing, but I want to be able to get a certain amount of protein, which we'll talk about in number 7 here. And it's a lot easier to do that if I track my food. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, so I had my protein coffee, that was 30. And then I just had this Factor meal for lunch, which you guys will see in an upcoming What I Eat in a Day. So that was another 30. So now I've had 60. And I probably actually had a little bit more in my protein coffee because I add a little bit of vanilla protein to it too. So, maybe I've had like 65 grams. But when it comes to dinner, I kind of let it slide. I don't really track it or anything. I mean, I wouldn't normally track probably my lunch either, except that it's on the packaging of the Factor meal. So going to be tracking my food. Number 7, kind of related to that, is I want to get a minimum of 90 grams of protein each day. Obviously I can get more than that. I think my range when I spoke with the dietitian was like 80 something to 108, something like that. So, obviously I can go over, but I want to make sure that I'm getting a minimum of 90 grams. These last 2, again, are probably specific to me. And the last one I will talk about because I'm sure I'm going to get some pushback from some people on it. So number 8 is no eating in bed. Now, I was great about this when I was in my weight loss phase. I just had no desire to eat, to be very honest with you. So not eating in bed was, no big deal. But I really want to, because I unfortunately slipped back into that habit of, we'll get in bed and I'll be like, oh, something sounds good in the pantry. So maybe I'll go get, a little half a cup of cereal and nibble on that. And then, then I got to go rebrush my teeth again. That's stupid. So yes, no eating in bed. And then sort of somewhat related to it, but really not, is that I want to stop eating by 10 p.m. Now, I know this is where some of you I think are going to come for me. You're going to be like, oh my God, 10 o'clock, that's so late. Okay. I don't generally go to sleep until around 1 o'clock in the morning. And we don't eat dinner until, we never eat dinner earlier than 7. It's generally closer to 8 o'clock at night. And I do like to have generally some kind of sweet kind of dessert / snack after dinner, but I never eat it directly after dinner. So let's say we eat dinner at 8, we're done eating, cleaning up, whatever, 8:30, 8:40, something like that. I need to digest my food. And so then I don't generally eat, which you'll again see in the What I Eat in a Day, that kind of sweet treat or whatever it is until probably 9:30 or 10, something like that. So I think, if I cut off my eating by 10, then 8 will be a given because I have to stop eating by 10 o'clock, which by definition means I'm not going to eat in bed because I never get into bed earlier than probably 11:30. So, like I said, if I do 9, then 8 should be an easy check mark in that box. So those are the 9 things that I'm going to have on my list. Now I'm hoping that I still have on my computer, I had a document where it was day by day and it listed everything, and you kind of like a habits checklist sort of thing. And I would check off everything I needed to do, because one of the hardest things on 75 Hard that I found to remember to do was you were supposed to take a picture of yourself every single day. And I can't tell you how many times I would be in bed, not asleep yet, but just in bed. You know, it's 11:30, I've gotten in bed, whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, at 12 o'clock or 12:15, I'll be like, oh, crap, I didn't take a picture. So I get out of bed, go into the bathroom, take a picture, and anyway, because my day, as far as what I consider a day in this challenge, is from when I wake up until when I fall asleep. So it may cross over technically into the next day as far as like the calendar and what the time says, but in my mind, if I'm still awake, it's still part of the day that I was in, if that makes sense. And I'm going to do what 75 Hard does as well. If I miss something, if I miss or, you know, slip up or whatever on one of these 9 things, then I have to start all over again. So the idea with 75 Hard is that you need to do these things 75 days in a row. And if you, let's say you get through day 27 and you forget to read your 10 pages of your book, you have to start all the way back at number 1 and start the 75 all over again. I was 100% perfection on 75 Hard, because there was no way in hell that I was going to go back and start this whole thing over again. So that's why I had that checklist, because that just made it easy. Every night before I went to bed, you know, I would check everything off, which then helped with that picture issue because I never remembered to take it during the day. It was always one of those last minute, oh crap things that I needed to do. So I will go make that, you know, do that checklist sheet so that I can do that. So 30 days, I'm going to start on April 1st, which is a Tuesday, I believe, next week. And yeah, we'll do it for the 30 days of April, and hopefully it will not continue into May, because hopefully I will do everything that I am supposed to do. Now, there are some interesting things here, because I have, you know, minimum of things, especially on the water and the protein. I'm going to have to be really cognizant of that if I don't want to have to restart this challenge. So I need to focus, and I really hope that this will get me back on track, get me back into really focusing on protein again, and, you know, so that I have those building blocks to continue to build muscle and to make myself stronger. So let me know in the comments below if you are going to join me in some kind of challenge. You know, maybe you only have 2 things on your challenge, or maybe you only have 1 thing. Maybe there's something that, you know, you used to do, or, you know, you're in your weight loss phase and maybe you just stopped tracking, and maybe you haven't been losing as quickly as you wanted to. Well, maybe if you started tracking again, that would sort of jumpstart things, because maybe you're not actually accurately really knowing how many calories you're eating. So, you know, maybe for you, your challenges for the month of April, I'm just going to track my food for the month of April, something like that. It doesn't have to be 9. It doesn't have to be any of the things that I'm doing. Whatever you would like to do, if you want to join me in a challenge, I would love that. Leave it down below that you want to do the challenge and what your tasks, or whatever you want to call it, are for the challenge. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Maybe you'll inspire me to add more to my list. So we'll see how that goes. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell also, so you know every time I upload a video. If you want to keep on watching another video, there'll be one in the corner here for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.